Hey guys! Today I was going to talk a little bit about pressure and release and how to teach your horse to move off of pressure and to be rewarded with the release. This is like one of the most basic concepts in riding, because if you don't have a horse that moves off of that, you're going to have a very unsensitive horse, one that won't move, that isn't going to be responsive, that isn't going to listen very well. So I'm going to show you how I'm working through that right now. So today I'm using Stocks. He is a 3-year-old gelding that I've had here, and I've been working for a little bit over a week. And he started out very, very unresponsive, as you can see. He's more the lazy type. He doesn't move very easily. He likes to just stand here and there you go. He likes to just stand here and do his own thing a lot of times. So anyway, I'm going to show what I've been working through with him and teaching him to move off of pressure so that he's listening to my leg aids and also my rein aids. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. And as you can see by all these scars on him, he's the lowest in his pecking order, so he's just a little guy in the group. Anyway, so the first thing I did was I asked him to move his hips over. And what I'm doing is I'm going to pressure right where I would be doing with my leg. As you can see, he's used to this now, so he moves off pretty easily. I rub. If rubbing doesn't work, I'm going to start jabbing more until he takes that step. When it takes the step, I'm going to release it immediately. Now, your release is one of the most important things because it's the reward. If you do not have the correct release, the horse is not getting rewarded on time, and they're actually going to be confused by what you're doing. All right, this time I'm going to ask for 2 steps. There's one, and that one didn't go across, so I'm going to ask for another one. And still didn't go across. There. Now the correct movement is actually for him to cross the leg that's on my side over in front of the leg that's on the other side. That is the correct movement. And so in the beginning, I'm not going to be picky about that, but the better he gets at just taking 1 step, 2 step, then I'm going to start being more specific and saying, okay, you need to do this correctly now. You need to move your foot correctly. You need to stay still on the front foot, pivot on that front foot. So that is the basic of just having him move off of the pressure. The next thing I did was I worked on teaching him to move his forequarters instead of his hindquarters, because hindquarters is important, but the forequarters is actually more important because that's mostly what you're going to be using when you're riding. So what I do to simulate my leg, again, I use my hand. I press right behind the girth area where my leg would be. Now just hang on, buddy. And I hold my hand up here to hold his head and push his head. There, at 1 step. You see how his leg crossed over? Now it's coming back. Let's go again. There. Now what I do with my left hand is I'm actually holding his head just a little bit and applying a little bit of pressure, simulating the pushing over of his head and neck, because I can't have a rein and pull him on this side. I'm still going to ask him to turn his head the correct way. There. This kind of shows how lazy he is because he moves so slow just doing this. But anyway, as I go on, I would increase the pressure, increase the movement, and ask more of him as we do this. And always remember, what you do on one side, you need to do on the other side. Also, sometimes your hand isn't always a real good thing to use in the beginning. I actually use the whip, and I just use the end of the whip to pressure him. So the one thing to remember is in everything, you always need to have an ask, an insist, and a demand. Now, these are 3 levels that tell the horse that, okay, I'm serious, you need to listen now. Where you going, bud? So, let's break it down and show like what that would look like in this situation. Now, an ask would be more like pressure with a bigger area. And if you didn't move, an insist would start to coke, and a demand would get like this. And depending what you're using, if you're using your hand, if you're using the whip, it's going to push, bump, and that's going to get harder. It's more of a smack or a harder bump. All right? So it always has to increase. If your horse is not responding, it must increase. And as soon as they do respond, it must stop completely. So you got to remember, this isn't going to all work like in the first time you try it normally. Sometimes it will, especially if your horse has already done things like this and is already used to working off of pressure. But not all horses are. There are a lot of people who do not understand the concept of pressure, and the horses are all confused about this. But the thing to remember is you've got to repeat it. There's got to be repetition. Horses learn through repetition, through doing it and doing it and doing it. And doing it correctly is the big thing. If you repeat it every time differently or every time the wrong way and you don't release correctly, that's not going to be teaching the horse anything good. It's going to just confuse it. Alright, so I think that's a bit... Alright, so I think that's about all for today. Thanks, Sucks, for being a good boy. And I'll see you next time. Bye!